Yes, sir. Good morning and welcome to our newspaper review on Lagoon Radio, your number one online gospel radio in Nigeria and official radio of the Anglican Communion Diocese of Lagos. We are transmitting live from the Archbishop's Palace right here in Marina, Lagos. Yes, it's a beautiful Friday morning, the 10th day of June 2022 and 28 minutes before the hour of 11. From now till 11 o'clock, we'll be giving you all the latest in the newspaper headlines. I am Anosike Chimezi, and I'm not alone in the studio. Yes, I have with me Ezekiel Kayode. Ezekiel, good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yes, you'll be wondering why, yes, we decided to do All Men today. Yes, it's All Men Friday.
Yes, so. Yes, so.
It's All Men Friday. Just take it like that. That's how we roll this Friday. And let's get it started. On the lead headline, Atiku's running mate on the Punch newspaper. PDP raises panel as Mwike Okoa lobby for VP slot. Atiku meets ex-governors, National Working Committee, Board of Trustee members, intensifies search for Vice President, submits presidential governorship candidates' names, running mates, INEC tells parties. That's on the lead headline of the Punch newspaper, and you can read further on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. And on the pictorial story, we see APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the vice president who he defeated in the APC primaries. Yes, after a courtesy visit to the villa. And it reads, Tinubu pays surprise visit to Sibanjo. Buhari hosts APC presidential candidate. You will see that on page 2 and 3 of the Punch newspaper. Olubado elevates Ladoja. Kola Daisi others today. Page 8 of the Punch newspaper. 97 local governments record suspected Lassa fever cases. Casualties rise. Page 11 of the Punch newspaper. Police to deploy 17,374 for Ekiti governorship. Yes, that's on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. Look at the number of policemen that will be deployed for governorship election. 17,374. And
I think elections are more important than
human lives. People walked into a church and killed
more than 20-30 people.
You watch the APC presidential primaries, you saw the number of policemen on ground.
Yes, at the Eagle Square.
What if there is an emergency somewhere around Abuja in the metropolis?
Because they are not politicians.
Okay. Get your PVCO. And still on the Punch newspaper, Curtis kill Lagos trader in sister's presence. Family slams police.
Jesus Christ.
What? Page 4 and 5. Lagos mob burns 30 Okadas, beats motorcyclists for killing pedestrian. Page 4 of the Punch newspaper.
Jungle justice.
Months after Punch investigation, court slams Nigerian army 200 million damages for killing Imo businesswoman. Page 30 of the Punch newspaper. And still on the Punch, Nigeria imports 41 billion naira salt despite huge local deposits. Page 22. Nigeria imports 41 billion naira salt despite huge local deposits. Federal government spending on trader money. Others hit 36.3 billion naira. Page 21.
Oh my God.
Okay, Owo massacre. Experts tackle federal government over insecurity. Government blames ISWAP. Page 16 of the Punch newspaper. That's where you get that story. Traders short Lagos market. Youths storm TBS for voter registration. Page 16 of the Punch newspaper. And NNPC makes 1.7 trillion naira from crude sales in 12 months. Page 22 of the Punch newspaper. And Nigerians beat CBN restrictions. Trade 78 billion naira Bitcoin in 3 months. Page 21 of the Punch newspaper. And that's the much we'll have on the Punch newspaper this morning.
Yes, as Chimeze has kicked up the ball and it kick-started with the Punch newspaper, I will continue with the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, and I have this to be the most prominent story there. Iswa behind our church massacre. This is from federal government. Well, Afenifere visit Owo. Comments Akeredolu on Amotekun. No going back on anti-open grazing now. Law, rather. Akeredolu. Well, it continues. We are vindicated by federal government's conversion. This is from Ilana Mudua. It is time for Nigerians to move around with arms. This is from On Aneze. It is well, all the stories continues on the 8th page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, the most informative newspaper. Kaduna government confirms killings of 32 villagers. What is confirm again? I only confirm you the confirm.
There was rumor of people of the villagers saying that helicopters, but the Kaduna state government did not confirm that helicopters were shooting
the truth
villagers.
Is, Chimeze, whether it's an helicopter or not, they killed people.
Yes, there was
it means the security there is damping. It's like it's not. There's nothing like security there again. So that's the truth. Whether they use helicopter or not, they killed people, and I don't think it's sane in a country that is sane. Yeah, the story further says denies, that is the Kaduna government denies reports terrorists flying helicopter. Well, it continues on the 27th page of that newspaper. On Alaafin stool, Agunloye royal family submit list of 48 contenders to head of princes. What did you call it? 48. It is well.
Are you a prince?
I'm not.
Don't bother.
It continues on the 25th page of that newspaper. Hey, 12,000 hectares of land for aviation city. Shurika gets certificate of occupancy. That's C of O. It is well. It continues on the 6th page of that newspaper. INEC solicit NAF support to airlift electoral materials and personnel. Well, I think I had that one in news I had yesterday. Well, it's no longer new. It continues on the 28th page of that newspaper on NLC strike. Court declares Kaduna Commission of Inquiry unconstitutional. It continues on the 29th page of that newspaper. Angry youth in Lagos burn over 20 motorcycles over pedestrian death. It continues on the 27th page. On 2022 Hajj, if you want to go to Mecca, Chimeze, first batch of Maduguri pilgrims leaves for Saudi Arabia. This is prepare your own to Lagos, to soon be Lagos turn. This is from Maduguri people. It continues on the 23rd page of that newspaper. And I have Tinubu, APC Northern Governors meet. VP slot stops discussion. It's so unfortunate that our politicians, they only care about elections now. Like all they could see.
That's what they live for. They don't care about the masses. They only care about Christ. The 4 years tenure.
The 4 years
and
tenure.
8 years.
Hey. Well, our candidates are project. This is from the national president Adamu. His campaigns must be inclusive. This is from Ndume. Jonathan Amechi Lalog Yakase congratulate him. That's Tinubu. Well, all this jargon they continue on the 4th and 5th page of that newspaper, and I have this to be the last content there. Bandits kidnap 80 villagers. This is new and latest. Kidnap 80 villagers in Katsina. It continues on the 26th page of that newspaper. grab a copy of the Nigerian most informative newspaper, the Nigerian Tribune, and be informed.
Okay, yes, from the Tribune, we move on to Daily Independent. And the lead story, INEC ends primaries, opens portal for upload of candidates, says no eligible registrants will be left out. And on the pictorial story of Daily Independent, we see former president, Osita Chidioka, former commercial, Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboye Oyeyemi, commercial, CEO, Federal Road Safety Commission, and second left, Good Luck Jonathan, former president, second right, and BC Karim, core public education officer, during the former president's visit to FRSC headquarters to renew his driver's license in Abuja. Yes, that's the pictorial story on the Daily Independent. And FG links Owo Church attack to ISWAP to deploy 17,374 police personnel for Ekiti gubernatorial election. And also, FG is worried over blasphemy killings, asks police to arrest attackers. Kaduna government confirms killing of 32 villagers by terrorists. All this you can see on Daily Independent newspaper. And continuing on the Daily Independent, Showore wins AAC presidential primary election, page 7 of the Punch newspaper. And you see, court orders FCT minister to swear in new chairmen, councillors. Orders Buhari AGF to defend suit on loop-sided appointments, page 6. I think this will be dead on arrival. Jonathan tags parties on issue-based violence-free campaigns. Congratulates Atiku, Obi, Tinubu, other presidential flag bearers. Page 7 of the Punch of the Daily Independent newspaper. Oshibanjo congratulates Tinubu, canvasses support for him. Still on page 7 of Daily Independent. Democracy Day, we have a lot to celebrate from federal government.
We have a lot. It's true. We have a lot.
A lot of calamities.
A lot of calamities.
Nigeria soaked in blood. Catholic bishop. Let me read a part of that. Most Reverend Lucius Iwejuru Ugoje, president of the Catholic Bishops Conference of Nigeria, has said that Nigeria is bleeding and soaked in blood. Ugoji said this on Thursday in Owerri while speaking at the Golden Jubilee of the Apostolic Administrator of Owerri. Yes, so Catholic bishops, it says Nigeria is soaked in blood. And the last but not the least story on Daily Independent. Peter Obi is recognized presidential candidate of Labour Party, INEC. Says it's unaware of faction in Labour Party. That's all on the Daily Independent newspaper this morning.
Yes, and I continue with the Leadership Friday. Yes, it says for God and the country. That's why they had this newspaper.
For
God and country.
Okay. We will get there.
We'll get there. On set for running mate, APC targets North Block votes. PDP rules out Southwest. Well, it continues on the 4th page of that newspaper. And under that story, I have Wike still on the cards for Atiku. Adamo moves to mend fences. Leads National Working Committee on visit to Tinubu. INEC gives parties June 70 deadline to submit candidate's name. Well, it continues as I've said on the 4th page of that. Who do you see is the running mate of Atiku?
There have been reports of there are 3 leading candidates. Governor Nyesom Wike of the River State, Governor Okowa of Delta State, and former Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps, Imo State, the one that the court sent away from the governorship seat. Yeah, Emeka Ihedioha. But for me, it's looking likely Wike and Okoa will settle for it.
Well, I pray it works well with
We are looking at them.
Al Mustafa Kashiku Dantale Showore emerged presidential candidate. Well, it's every time now. Showore will always emerge.
Showore is always on the ballot
I
paper.
tell you. It continues on the 6th page of that newspaper. Southern Middle Belt leaders love PMB Ashiwaju over APC convention. The story also continues on the 6th page too, and I have this. U.S. expresses concern as federal government names ISWAP in our church attack. It continues on the 7th page if you are interested on that story. On Democracy Day, federal government declares Monday holiday. Says Abiola duly honored. I think from Lai Mohammed. It is well. It continues on the 6th page of that newspaper. Campaigns. Avoid fault lines. Jonathan tells Atiku, Tinubu, Obi, Kwankwa. So it's well. It continues on the 8th page of that newspaper. And I have this to be the penultimate story there. Is it meningitis? Yes, meningitis kills 65 persons. Oh, in Jigawa. That's sad. Well, I have this to be the last content there. That story, the one I just mentioned, continues on the 4th page. It starts from the 1st page, of course. It continues on the 4th page of the Leadership Friday. And I have this to be the last story there. Kaduna confirms 32 deaths in Kajuru raid. Debunks reports of area attack by terrorists. And I could see the head of El Rufai there. It is well. Chimeze, let's have you.
Okay. Yes. It's still you're still on to Lagoon Radio, your number one online gospel radio in Nigeria, and it's still the newspaper review with It's All Men Friday. Yes. We are taking you down. You grab a copy of the newspaper you want to read. We are just giving you the headlines and the authority. Yes, and the authority, the lead headline. Yes, on the pictorial story, the IG, Inspector General of Police, and Minister of Interior, Ezekiel, your mentor.
God will forgive you.
Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, the former governor of Osun State. He has declared public holiday for Monday.
Yes, Minister for Public Holidays.
That's where he is best.
Of course. He does that a lot. He's an
I
expert
listened
in
to
that
him
field.
speaking passionately yesterday, whether faked passion or what.
It might be fake. I don't even trust politicians. Sorry. If I've offended you, I don't trust politicians.
Okay, the story for the authority. ISWAP behind Oyo church killings. Federal government. Terrorists make attack look like ethno-religious war from your uncle.
Like,
from your uncle.
Is it their first time? Was it their first time of killing people?
Do you know who said it?
Aregbesola. Who would have said that? If not Lai Mohammed, it would be Garba Shehu or Femi Adesina or Aregbesola.
Okay, be coming down.
I'm trying.
Get your PVC. They must not go unpunished. Afenifere tax federal government. And the authority is looking like it have different headlines from what we've been reading. FCT area councils elections. Judge reverses self. Judge reverses self. Directs FCT minister to swear in 6 council chairmen and councillors. 2023, Kwankwaso Adebayo win NMPP SDP presidential ticket as Mogalo loses ADC. Democracy Day, federal government declares Monday as public holiday.
No man.
Aregbesola. NHRC condemns spate of killings. Tax federal government on justice. And still on the authority, APC primaries fallout. Ohaneze Ndigbo accuses APC of injustice, betrayal of Southeast. When I hear this kind of things, I feel pained. Ohaneze Ndigbo should do more. They should do more. Encourage people in the Eastern extraction to join politics, not crying
Not
foul
crying
every
foul
time.
every time.
You have to do something to be reckoned with. Not at the end. When Ogbonnaya was making his passionate speech, it was coming late, for God's sake. You can't come on the primary arena and be saying all those kind of things. Where is the justice? Where is the justice of the Southeast? What have you done in the last elections? Currently, what are you doing in the Southeast? INEC will continually say that Southeast have the lowest number of voters. Go home, fix that. Encourage people. There is a lot of political apathy in the Southeast. I hate it when Ohanes and they are not doing a lot. Sensitize your people. Let them come out.
And do the needful.
Do the needful before you cry that you are being marginalized or you talk about injustice and the rest of them. I'm not happy with all these comments.
Sorry, Chimeze. Sorry.
Let's continue. Families of kidnapped train victims deny release of passengers. Page 7. You know there was a rumor flying in yesterday that they have been released.
Yes. I saw the story too.
NEPSA, FIRS, task pact to end suspicions over freight trade zones at Denugba. INEC urges political parties to submit list of candidates, gives Friday deadline. Page 10 of the Authority newspaper. You can grab a copy of the Authority newspaper now.
Okay, I have this. If you want to know the truth, grab this newspaper. That's this Nigeria. Did you hear me, Chimeze?
I heard you.
On our church attack, federal government says a swap did it. Hey, bandits killed another 6 in Ondo. Jesu. Security zeroing on culprits. This is from Inspector General of Police. No arrest yet on. Kidnappers of Methodist prelate. Oh, sorry. Let me take that again. No arrest yet on kidnappers of Methodist prelate. This is from Arebeshola. Well, the story continues on the 4th page of that newspaper, and I have this. To Nigerians, capital inflows suffer $1.57 billion decline in first quarter of the year 2022. It continues on the 15th page of that newspaper, and I have this too. More presidential candidates emerge as Showore Al-Mustafa others pick tickets. Well, it continues on the 13th page of that newspaper. WAEC arrests supervisors in Lagos. Kano. Others for exam malpractice. Yeah, she don't open now. It continues on the 6th page of that newspaper. Kaduna confirms killing of 32 by terrorists. Denies every attack. It continues on the 7th page of that newspaper too. And INEC begs NAF for logistic support. Police deploys over 17,000 personnel for Ekiti Guba polls. And the pictorial message, I could see some military men here, representative of the Chief of Defense Staff, Rear Admiral Mohammed Naguma and others. Well, they are saluting. I just see them saluting. Maybe they just had a meeting. Well, I pray their meeting is fruitful, sha. Every time meeting. Chimeze's people, politicians. Yes, do you have any other one there for time?
Yes, I'm looking for some of the papers that have different headlines also.
Okay.
Yes, the Daily Times. Okay. Not really entirely different from what others have. On the lead headline, ISWAP behind our church attack, National Security Council. And on the pictorial story, we see the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, former boss of the road safety, Osita Chidioka, and the current boss of the road safety, Boboye Oyeyemi. Yes, when the former president went to renew his driver's license.
Voila.
Yes, court orders FCT minister to swear in elected chairmen, councillors. That's on page 3 of the Daily Times newspaper. Abuja natives jubilate. Kajuru attack. Kaduna government debunks reports of helicopter shooting. Releases victims' names. God save us. Peter Obi is recognized presidential candidate for Labour Party.
Okay.
INEC.
Okay.
Everybody should go and rest.
Okay.
Page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper. APC presidential primary, most competitive, peaceful in Nigeria democracy. Buhari. Yeah. Comments Governor Bagudu on the outing. Page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper. And I contested against you so as to provide leadership. Lawan tells Tinubu. Ogalawan, if you wanted to provide leadership, you should have used that 100 million to reduce poverty in your senatorial zone.
And not just mere form.
Not just mere form. And he bought 2 forms.
200 million.
No, 140 million. I be 160 or 140
senatorial,
million.
right?
He bought senatorial form. He bought and the level of poverty in his senatorial district is still high. Oga, you did not provide leadership. It's selfish interest. NHRS decries continued killings. Once Owo Church attackers arrested. 2023 presidency. Muslim ticket is dead on arrival. Babashia Lawal. Yes, I listened to him yesterday on that interview. You can see that and more on page 5 of the Daily Times newspaper. Yes, and that's the much we can take on the newspaper review this morning. Thank you, Ezekiel, for stopping by.
Yes, okay.
And thank you too for listening to us this morning. And have you gotten your PVC? If you've not, go and get your PVC. 2023, decide the destiny and future of your unborn kids and even your kids. It will be massive. 2023, if we miss it now, we may never get there again.
Yes.
God will help us.
Amen.
And as you go out this morning, or as you are where you are supposed to be, God will continue to lead us. And don't forget, join us on every of our programs. You can follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Lagoon Radio Nigeria, Twitter and Instagram, Lagoon Radio NG. From all of us in the studio, is goodbye and do have a lovely day.